everybody, Lindsay here, and we are continuing our journey through the Relentless series, the Leo Rossi detective starring vehicle, the Relentless series. And we are on the sequel, number 2, called Dead On, Relentless 2. Being directed by William Lustig. Oh no. We are now dealing with Michael Schroeder in the director's chair. Famed director of Cyborg 2 and Cyborg 3.
Cyborg 3. This time, it's a fight to the death. More to follow, darling.
We have returning cast. We have Leo Rossi as Detective Dietz.
Morning, Francine. Is that a new dress? It's very stylish. Nice perfume.
Sam Dietz. We have Meg Foster back as his long-suffering wife.
Sometimes when I look in your eyes, what I see really scares me.
I'm the same guy I've always been.
And that's the problem.
And we have Mindy Seeger back as the long-suffering Francine.
Sam, your compliments are unimaginative, sexist, and insincere.
And you love him.
Right. Captain Rivers wants to see you.
We also have John Goff, who plays Dr. Park, the eccentric psychologist from the first movie.
Why don't you get cable?
Television should be free, the way Milton Berle intended it.
So this is shaping up to be an actual franchise. We have returning characters, more than just the star, and it seems to pick up just a little bit further down the road from where we left off in the first one. I think this is like 6 to 9 months after the events of the first one, and things have changed. Detective Dietz is estranged from his wife because he refuses to get therapy because he is very traumatized and has awful dreams about the ending of the first movie. And she wants him to go to therapy with her, but he refuses. He does not need it, according to him.
I've already told you, Sam. If you don't want to go to a counselor with me, I don't want you back.
I know who I am and what I want in life. I don't need a counselor.
So he's batching it up at a hotel room. Pizza boxes, drinking from the carton, just living like an animal. Another big reason that Meg Foster doesn't want to have anything to do with Leo Rossi anymore, besides his face, is that he continuously chooses the job over her and the family.
Same song, second verse. I'm never here. My home is at the office. It's bullshit, Carol. I'm tired of hearing you sing it.
Every time she calls, he puts her on hold.
Is something wrong?
No. Did you take my bank book?
Hold on, please. Let me grab this call. Hold on.
Don't put me on.
Dates? Where?
And we have a new killer in this movie. A different kind of killer, but we'll get to that later. How the movie opens is with his first kill. And man, can I tell you how surprised and excited I was when I saw his first victim. It was none other than Sven Ole Thorsen. And this fight scene is amazing. They're throwing chains and choking each other and throwing each other through car windows, kicking car windows. It's amazing. And our killer this time is played by the specimen that is Miles O'Keefe.
I just died on your arms tonight.
And it just goes to show how big Sven Ole Thorsen is, because in this first fight scene, Miles O'Keefe looks pretty tiny compared to him. So he dispatches Fennel Thorson and then cuts him open and mutilates him, and then he puts these like satanic markings on the wall in blood. That's his MO. Mess around with the organs some and leave some symbols on the wall in blood.
We'll bag the internal organs and reconstruct them later. A lot of the blood's on the wall over there.
So we go to the first crime scene with Fennel Thorson all strung up on the wall. And Rossi is doing more of his Sherlock Holmes bit. They even reference it right out of the open.
The killer probably kicked some off when it was on top of the beam.
You really have a taste for this, don't you, Sherlock?
It's called observation, Dr. Watson. Observation.
And also at this crime scene is an FBI guy, played by one of the weirdest looking dudes I've ever seen.
All right, you heard the man. Let's go. Right. Jack, please. You have to leave now. Thank you.
He's kind of giving me Paul Reiser vibes. A little.
If you want to continue working on the case, I suggest that if you need any information in the future, that you run it by me first. Otherwise, you're out.
It may just be a down transmitter, okay? But if it's not, I would like you there as an advisor.
So then we end up at the police station, and we have a new captain, and that new captain is Dale Dye.
Hey, Sam.
Hey, Captain.
Nasty one you got on your hands.
Yes, if you need someone to play someone of authority, you call Dale Dye. Whether it's a police captain or a Vietnam-era sergeant, lieutenant, whatever, call Dale Dye. He's your guy.
You don't tell me shit about screaming, boy! I've heard a lot of fucking screaming in this country!
And when they go talk to Dale Dye, he's in the gym doing it like a Nordic track thing, very aggressively. He's a fit dude. And the funniest part of that is every time Rossi goes to talk with his captain, he's doing an even more elaborate exercise. But we'll get to that.
Then I could presume all of your piddly-ass questions have been resolved?
Oh, yes, sir. Everything's as clear as LA's air.
And the relationship that he has with the FBI guy is hard to... It's hard to read sometimes because sometimes they're very antagonistic and at other times they're like joking back and forth. Like I don't know. I don't know what to make of their relationship.
You got all this high-tech stuff, you still use a crummy pager.
Will you stop? Look at you. You're like a little kid. I can't believe you gotta touch everything.
And the thing about this movie is the tone is all over the place. There are times when I'm like, are they trying to be funny here? Do they know they're doing a bit here? And then other times where it is so serious and so overdramatic that we just have these two opposite ends of the spectrum and they never find a happy medium and they never gel with each other. I think that's my biggest complaint with this installment of this franchise is that the tone is just like a fork in the road. And no matter which way you choose, you're going to be disappointed.
What about the victims? Anything linking them together?
Well, they're all dead.
Because we have these little barbs back and forth between the characters, like Rossi and the captain's secretary, Francine, and him and the FBI guy. But then we have this super serious, artistic, almost beautiful looking scene where Miles O'Keefe, in all of his glory, does an alpha male cold plunge. And it looks beautiful. It doesn't look like it belongs in a film like this. And there's some other sequences throughout this film that are the same way. It's just so incongruous. Then comes the second victim, real estate lady. And they have a really good opportunity for a jump scare. They set it up really well in this scene, and then they ruin it with shitty editing. And another thing I like in this movie is they show his visualization process of the crimes, especially with the real estate lady. Like he thinks of different scenarios, and then you see those scenarios play out. Like maybe I think it happened this way. Well, what about this way? And then they show it. It's interesting. It adds another dimension to him as a detective.
Looks like you knocked it through this
Maybe she knocked him through.
But also in this movie, we get more Seven stuff. I had mentioned that about the first movie and how but the first movie also does Manhunter, Red Dragon at the end. That doesn't happen in this movie. They don't rip off Thomas Harris at all. But there is some more Seven stuff. One of the biggest ones is a shot where Leo Rossi's waiting outside on like this wooden bench in the hallway, waiting for some information to come in. And it looks like that same scene when Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman are in the hallway on the wooden bench, falling asleep, waiting for the information to come in. And they also have a throwaway line in this about the killer burning his fingerprints off.
What, he burn his prints off?
No. Doesn't look like scar tissue impressions. Looks like he covered him with something.
Yeah, like what?
Super glue.
Which is very interesting because Kevin Spacey's character cuts off his fingerprints, so he won't leave fingerprints.
He cuts the skin off the tips of his fingers. That's why we couldn't find one single usable print in his apartment. Looks like he's been doing it for quite some time.
And they show us that someone is sending the killer coded messages in the newspaper, in the personal ads. And then Meg Foster pops up again, and she's begging for Leo Rossi to quit being this big city detective and move with her out in the sticks and be sheriff of this small California town. Like, that's the compromise she's willing to do. You can still be a cop, but we need to live in a safe place and raise our son in a safe place after what happened at the end of the first movie.
You can still be a cop and Corey can grow up in a safe environment. Please, for me, us.
He says he'll think about it. He's not gonna think about it. So then he goes to talk to the captain again, and now the captain's running track.
He's at the track dates.
But did you ever hear an FBI agent giving up his working files?
Like I said, each time he goes to see the captain, the physical activity escalates. It's a bit, and it's on purpose, and it doesn't fit in this movie, but it does make it entertaining.
Now look, I'm gonna finish my run. You get out there and catch us a murderer, huh?
And then we get the loony psychiatrist back, and for some reason they go up on a roof.
Either a military man or law enforcement.
Law enforcement? What, a cop?
And I don't know if it was supposed to be for laughs either, because you can't tell in this movie what tone they're going for. So he doesn't really get a lot of answers from the psychiatrist. The psychiatrist is like, oh, maybe he's doing this, maybe he's doing that. I don't know. If I think of something, I'll call you. Tons of help.
It's hard to say.
That's all?
For now. If I come up with anything else, I'll call you.
So then Leo Rossi is driving home, and he sees an ad for Jamaica, to travel to Jamaica. Come have a vacation in Jamaica. Come hide in plain sight. He sees this, like the word dead, and then hide in plain sight on this advertisement. And then he sees a funeral procession go right in front of him. And that's where it clicks that, oh my gosh, these people are already dead.
They're already dead. That's it. They're already dead.
That's the connection of the victims. They were using the identity of deceased persons. So he goes back to talk to the captain. And now the captain's doing laps in the pool.
But when I call the numbers, nobody's home, no one. Now, Valsone claims there's nothing linking the victims together, huh? But there's always something.
And he talks to Captain about Fushan, or Fulchen, whatever the fuck his name is, FBI guy. Talks to him about FBI guy and says he's crooked. Please look into this. And Captain is like, all right, I'm Dale Dye. I will get to the bottom of it.
Look, don't do anything for a while. Right? Let me make a few phone calls. Okay. Just give me till tomorrow morning.
And then we get another murder from our serial killer. And this scene is insane because there's so much in this movie that's trying to be much more than what this movie is. There's some beautiful cinematography and some wonderful shots, and it's in this movie where it can do nothing. They throw a fucking dog out the window, for Christ's sake. After he throws a dog out the window, he confronts two cops, knocks them both out, takes the uniform off one, and then stands up into this shot. How is this not supposed to be funny? Especially when it's followed by this terrible ADR.
Where'd he go?
Then we come to one of my favorite scenes in the movie. It looks gorgeous to me, and it's an amazing set piece, is this back of the bowling lane scene. Because I've seen this in other movies, but not done this effectively. Because we get all this machinery sound and movement, and the light is very sparse and a lot of shadows. And while we don't get a machinery kill in this scene, it's still just fucking cool looking. So then we go back to the police station. It turns out Dale Dye did not get to the bottom of things.
They're lying. You can't see it? I told you they wouldn't cop to it, and you're playing their goddamn game just like some little political boy.
Keats, you're out of line.
And so now Leo Rossi is in big fucking trouble because he accused the FBI of lying, and the FBI is like, no, we weren't. But Leo Rossi isn't gonna believe that. He knows Fauchon is full of shit. So he confronts him in the bathroom and they have a big fight, and then he gets kind of fired.
Jesus, Keats, do that. That's all right. I'm done. Keats! You're suspended pending disciplinary hearing.
And then we get another murder, and this one's fucking crazy too. We have some just very elaborate murder scenes in this movie. In this one, it's at a construction site. He's killing the guy who's putting all the electrical through. I mean, he puts a twist tie around his neck super tight. He throws him through drywall. He comes down fucking Spider-Man style from the non-existent ceiling. So by this time, Leo Rossi's character is just depressed in his hotel room, mad at what he did or what they supposedly did to him, that he can't get one over on Fauchon and that he can't figure it out. Meg Foster shows up and starts talking about bank books.
Hey, that's evidence.
No, it's my bank book.
That's evidence.
This isn't my bank book.
And that gives him the bright idea, oh my gosh, I should look at the victim's bank books. Holy shit, they all bank at the same bank.
It's not the deposits, dummy. It's the banks.
Yeah.
Both have the same banks.
But Leo Rossi starts to figure out who these victims are and how they're connected, and that they're all sleeper agents for the Soviet Union. So Leo Rossi goes to confront Fauchon. And this is where we have our big exposition dump, because Leo Rossi is threatening to expose him and everybody else by sending out these envelopes. He's just holding them in the mailbox, ready to drop him. If Fauchon shoots him or whatever, he's gonna drop him, and they'll go to the press and the captain and his mother. Not the captain's mother, Leo Rossi's mother, for some reason. And also, I love how he figures out that FBI guy Fauchon, that's his name, Fauchon. Leo Rossi, Detective Dietz, figures out that he's not who he says he is by taking his early 90s cell phone and hitting redial 3 times. First redial goes to the newspaper where he's been leaving messages for the killer.
LA Tribune, personal ads.
The second one goes to the FBI office, which is what he's claimed to be.
Fairfax FBI, Agent Morris here. Can I help you?
And the third one goes to the Soviet fucking embassy.
Soviet Embassy.
What'd you say this was?
Soviet Embassy. Who do you wish to speak to?
No, wrong number.
And the killer is just a Russian assassin who has been tasked with taking these guys out. And the FBI guy isn't an FBI guy. Oh my God, he's NSA and he's in on it.
National Security Agency?
That's right. I'm a big government spook. And you, my friend, are going to rebuild the Berlin Wall all by yourself if you drop those there.
And this part is where the movie really starts to lose me. Because it kind of goes away from being this serial killer investigation movie, this thriller cop drama type thing, into this international spy thriller that doesn't work. And in the end makes it wholly uninteresting. Because we see a lot of the killer's point of view in this movie, as we do in the first one, but this one is a little more blatant because he's not a psychopath like Judd Nelson was in the first one. In this one, he's an assassin, and he's doing the mutilation and the symbols on the wall to throw off the police, to make them think it's a serial killer, to throw them off the track. So it becomes very muddy with the intrigue, and like I said, it just makes it wholly uninteresting because he's a homicide detective that investigates serial killers. That's what he made his career on. It just takes away the style and overall tone of a serial killer movie like we had in the first one, and pairing the international spying sleeper agents NSA stuff with this LA beat cop, you know, I mean it doesn't work.
His job was to come here and bring back Soviet spies who don't want to come in from the cold. The problem is he's taken out the entire network, even the ones that agree with Glasnost.
So he kind of spills everything, at least without incriminating himself. He tells him that he's Spetsnaz Soviet Special Forces is who this killer is, and that he's just taking out all these assassins, and that Fushan is trying to stop him. But in reality, he's helping him. He doesn't want him to stop, he wants him to keep going. Because for him, the Cold War is not over. Leo Rossi and Fushan strike a deal saying, hey, we'll clear this up, you get your job back, blah, 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 blah. But it turns out Rossi was bluffing, and the envelopes are empty. So Fushan kicks his ass and takes him to Freddy Krueger's basement.
Sleeping Beauty awakes.
And there he starts torturing him, and he's trying to make him look like another one of the killer's victims.
If it looks like a serial killer, it must be a serial killer. It's called hide in plain sight, Deets.
But lo and behold, our Russian Special Forces guy shows up and shoots Fushan. And then has this over-dramatic monologue about who decides who dies. Is it him? Is it the people in charge? And it's extremely philosophical, and again, has no place in this movie.
Who makes those choices, detective? Him? You? Me?
And the ending, again, is so over-dramatic. He wants to walk away. He's just gonna walk away. And Leo Rossi is like, you know I can't just let you walk away.
I can't just let you walk out of here, man.
And so our big, hulking, sensitive assassin takes out his magazine and does a suicide by cop and dies tragically. And then the movie ends with Leo Rossi collapsing onto his bed in his shitty hotel room, calling up Meg Foster and said, you know what, honey? Call me sheriff, because I'm going to take that job in that small town California.
I tell you what, let's talk when you get here, huh? We'll talk about everything.
Okay, I'll be right there, Sam.
Make that Sheriff Sam.
And then the credits roll. And that's the end of the movie. We don't get some big dramatic shootout, no psychological exploitation by Leo Rossi. He really kind of does nothing in this movie. And I think that's why I don't like this one as much as I liked the first one. Because we don't have that dynamic killer. Fushan is the bad guy, yeah, but he's not bad enough to fill that void that this movie needs. And I'm coming around on Leo Rossi. You know, it was hard for me to get over the character that he plays in The Accused, because it's a really fucking despicable character, and he plays it really well. So seeing him in anything but that kind of role is tough. It's tough to buy him in this role, because also I can't get a beat on him because the tone is so all over the place. It's like he's kind of this Sherlock Holmes kind of detective character, and he has a little bit of tough guy in him, but not enough to be dynamic or captivating or charismatic in any way. So I'm hoping the rest of the series kind of brings him alive a little more, and we can get a little more sense of what his character is, because so far it's been very stereotypical in some aspects, and then just very flat in other aspects. Because yes, he's this cop, he is dedicated to the job, he chooses the job over his family, and then finally in this movie he has this very weird experience with Russian intrigue and spies and the NSA, and that makes him want to say, no, you know what, I'm done, I'm gonna hang it up and go be some small town sheriff. I can walk away from this now. Why? I don't get it.
I love you too, baby.
We've got 2 more movies to go through after this. Yes, there are 4 fucking movies in the Leo Rossi Detective Dietz saga, and I cannot wait to see where it goes from here. I'm hoping we get another actual serial killer in the next movie. Who's coming back? Are we gonna see anything from Meg Foster? Is Dale Dye gonna be fucking lifting weights or throwing hammers or some shit? What is the next chapter in the Detective Dietz story? Find out on the next episode. Well, that's gonna do it for this video, so until next time, this is Lindsay signing off. I'll check you later.